Ed passed away last week, and today his family and friends and admirers gathered at St. Philip Neri Church in Metairie to pay their respects. We talked to some of the people who will never forget Ed Daniels.
I cherish all the times we had together, and would definitely this community will absolutely miss Ed.
I'm kind of surprised that there were that many people that knew the real one. I mean, everything they're saying is true, and not too many people you can say that about.
I mean, I saw it written that there weren't enough hours in the day for Ed, or days in the week, or weeks in the year. That's probably true. You could not outwork this man. He was just a grinder in the best sense of the word.
Ed took me under his wing as soon as I got to WGNO, and he knew how far away I was from my family, and he always looked out for me. He always asked about my family.
But he would treat a Carr, Curtis game like it was the Super Bowl. No different coverage, same attitude, same way he approached it.
Everybody who's ever covered sports in New Orleans is here today, and that says a lot about how respected he was in the industry, what he did for high school sports, especially in New Orleans. I mean, it goes unmatched. I mean, there'll never be another Ed Daniels.
Most people play high school sports, including myself. Now that doesn't transition into college, and only a few people at college get into professional. He gave that voice and that face to those people at a lot younger age than they're normal to, and that's a tribute to him.
What he did to help people get started in their careers, to nurture their careers, to help people who had nothing to do with communications or broadcasting or journalism, but just helping them with other jobs.
We created a ton of things, but the best thing was Friday Night Football. To know the impact Ed has made on the lives of the young people that he covered, they'll never forget being on Friday Night Football. I know that Ed he would want that show to live on.
And it does live on. We'll tell you a little bit more about this week's Friday Night Football tribute to Ed in a minute. But tonight, a celebration of Ed's life is happening at Rock and Bowl on Carrollton Avenue. WGNO's Rick Gogrieve is there. Rick.
Yes, Susie, the evening is just about wrapping up. As you can see, there's just a few dozen people remaining, but earlier hundreds were here at Rock and Bowl celebrating the incredible life of Ed Daniels. Now, friends, family, and co-workers, both past and present, made their way here following the visitation and Mass. We spoke with several guests who shared just how much Ed meant to them and the city of New Orleans.
And he covered games for my son, and he covered games for my grandson. So he's been a part of the community and just a local icon.
He didn't care about himself as much as he cared about others. He was a good Christian man. He was a very strong family man. He loved Robin and his family.
He was caring, he was compassionate, he was passionate. He was the hardest working guy I knew, and he's the best friend I had in life for 52 years since we met in high school and pursued the same interests and went to college together and pursued the same interests and have done things together professionally for 40 plus years.
Now, some other special guests that attended this afternoon include Saints' own Mickey Loomis and the head coach, Dennis Allen. You'll hear from them and other guests coming up at 6. Susie?
It's nice to share a lot of great memories and really celebrate his life. Thanks, Rick.